Hello. Right. Hello, we are live. I'm Hazel, and you'll all already be familiar with Deanne. You might even be familiar with me if you've caught up with our podcast, because we do like to talk about writing an awful lot. Specifically today, we are going to be talking about Deanne's writing, because she's written something really rather fantastic. Her novel, The Heretic Servant, comes out this coming Monday, the 12th of December. Mark your calendars, get ready to go onto Amazon and buy. I have been fortunate enough to read an advance copy, so I can tell you it is fantastic. You will not regret purchasing it. Last week, Deanne, you had a chat with Sarah and you spoke about your inspirations, what drove you to write The Heretic Servant.
Yeah.
I thought today it might be an idea to talk about some of the characters your readers are going to meet and tell us a little bit about them. I think it's fair to say there are four main characters. So The Heretic Servant is a thriller set in the Tudor period, and it's told from the viewpoint of Molly. So tell us a little bit about Molly.
Now, yes, thanks. Molly is a servant in the household of the Spicers. They are a lesser nobility family, and she is totally devoted to Kate, who's the mistress of the house. They were together before Kate even married. They've been together since they were children, and Molly feels about Kate not just as a devoted servant feels about her mistress, but almost as if she's her own sister. She loves her in that way, and she wants nothing but the best for her and her family, and for herself as well.
Of course. Now, I have to admit, whilst I was reading this, I could see shades of you in Molly's voice. I think it's only natural when we write. There are little parts of our personality that creep through, both the bits that we hide and the bits that we like.
Yes.
To what
Molly,
extent
yeah,
is
Molly does have a certain acerbic quality about her, doesn't she? And yes, that does come out in some of the words I've come out in some of the words I put into her mouth there. Yes, you're right.
But she's not 100% Deanne. Who could be 100% Deanne apart from you?
Well, exactly. There's only one of me, and I think the world is thankful for
that. So tell me now about Makepeace.
Now, Makepeace has a deliberately benignly chosen name because it's ironic. He wants nothing so little as to make peace. He is very much the antagonist of the piece. Of the P-I-E-C-E, of the piece. He is a Catholic priest. He is in danger during the bulk of the story because it's that time when Catholics were being persecuted. Yet he is not a hapless victim. He is a deeply, deeply unpleasant character. But that is not because, I wish to emphasize, he's not deeply unpleasant because he's a Catholic priest.
No, I got the impression when reading Makepeace's character that he would be a piece of work, we'll go for that description, whether he were a priest or a pauper. Yeah. So I think it's your plot line about religion. It's not about religion. I don't think it's about the individuals and their personalities, and they are all fascinating.
Well, I'm glad that's come across because I was very much aware that it could turn into a story in which one group of people, the Catholics or the Protestants, become the good guys and the other group become the bad guys. And that's really not what I want to say. It really is about individuals, their relationships, their behavior, and it's about people rather than about big issues.
Yes.
And how those big issues affect the people. It's very much about that.
So you've spoken about Kate and Edward. Edward to me, he struck me as being a very complex character. I almost felt like he was the most human because he was the most clearly flawed in ways that we might find ourselves flawed.
Yes. Edward, yes. Edward, so Sir Edward Spicer, Kate's
I'm
husband.
sorry, I forgot the Sir.
Yeah, he is very deeply flawed. He is quite antagonistic in some of his behaviours, and yet he isn't an outright bad guy. He is a flawed. He is a very flawed character who does love, and yet he makes some terrible mistakes as well. Although he also tries to rectify them as best he can too.
There was a line that kept coming up into my head when I read about Edward from Pride and Prejudice, when Mr. Bennet is defending Mr. Darcy after Wickham's told his tale of woe. And I think Mr. Bennet says something along the line of, he may turn out to be no more the black-hearted villain than any other gentleman used to getting his own way.
Yeah, than any other rich man used to getting his own way. Yes.
And that's the idea I got behind Edward, somebody who cares a lot about his family, but also is used to being able to say what he wants and do what he wants as master of his own house. And I think that adds to his undoing, to my mind, of reading it.
Yes, absolutely. He does go about his business in a selfish manner. He does very much wish to be, well, an Englishman's home is his castle, that sort of idea. And he very much does see himself as being the master. Although in other ways, we might recognize him as being quite modern compared to his contemporaries. For example, he sees fit to have his daughter educated in a not dissimilar way to the way he has his son educated. He does not think that his daughters should be at that much of a disadvantage as girls usually were.
Yes, and indeed I recall him having his servants educated to some degree as well. I think the line you used is, "I have no use for a servant who cannot read."
Yes, there is an
excellent line. Yes, I did like
that. Yes. Yes, Molly learns to read as an adult when she goes into the Spicer household. Yes.
And then finally we have Kate.
Kate, yes, a very gentle soul, nervous, wishes everybody to be happy. A maternal figure. She has a background of tragedy, which the reader discovers in chapter 1, and she puts all of her love into her family and tries to live the best life she can, although circumstances take over and challenges present themselves. It wouldn't be much of a story if there weren't challenges.
No. If she got her happily ever after from the get-go, then no, it wouldn't really be worth reading. But so there we have it. We have our 4 main players. There are other players in the background supporting cast who enrich the story further. And you've woven quite a tapestry there. It's a fascinating tale. And what are we now? We're Wednesday. So we've got today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 more days to launch day.
Yes,
and
absolutely. So yes, launching on the 12th of December, and it'll be out on Amazon. You will scarcely be able to move on Facebook for me posting posting the link everywhere. And for the first day, for the 12th of December, the Kindle version will be just 99p before it then goes up to the full price. So if people like a bargain on Kindle, that'll be the day to get it.
Well, aside from anything else, you know, it's a busy time and it's an expensive time, but I think most of us are in a position where we can say 99p, I'll do that. So
Yes,
get ready, folks. 12th of December, look for the link and you won't regret it. Okay.
Thank
Well
you,
done,
Hazel.
Deanne. Thank you.